Hi there. I'm a reporter with the Daily Caller News Foundation.
Goodbye. You're trespassing.
I'm sorry.
Trespassing. My kids are out here.
I understand. We mean no trouble. We're just curious who the occupants of the home are,
Don't
because
worry
there's
about who's occupants. That's none of your business.
well there
You're
are connections
trespassing.
to
Okay, but
New
you're
York Attorney
trespassing.
General Letitia
That doesn't
James.
matter. You're trespassing.
Are you related to
You're
Letitia James?
trespassing.
Do you know her?
You're trespassing. Go in the house.
Do you know
You're
Letitia James?
trespassing.
No? Okay.
You're trespassing.
No comment. Thank you,
Don't
ma'am.
pull up to my house no more.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. You have a good one.
It's gonna be powerful. can
You will.
record all you want.
Be well.
There's a car parked in the driveway.
Hello there, ma'am.
No comment, you're trespassing.
No comment?
Yeah, you're trespassing.
Okay, well, who lives here?
You're trespassing.
Who lives here, ma'am?
No comment.
No comment.
All right, folks, lots to talk about tonight. It is Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. Of course, we have Nicole Bennett.
Hey, y'all.
And Shelly E.
Hi.
All right, folks, we've got a full show tonight. So before we light this fire, do your part. Tap that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications. We're live here on YouTube and Rumble. If you're on the go, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. Okay, so at the top of the show, that was a clip from New York Attorney General Letitia Big Tish James. So they were at one of her so-called rental places, rental houses or what have you. And that was the tenant in Virginia I think that was at the Norfolk house. So now she's already under fire for federal indictment for bank fraud. And now she's facing fresh scrutiny after revelations that her fugitive grandniece has been living rent-free in her Virginia home for 5 years. Shelly, is this something here?
Let me make sure I heard you correctly. You said fugitive, right? Fugitive, and this is an attorney general harboring a fugitive. Can we add these charges to the allegation list? Please, let's do it. That's one thing. Number two, these people, when they have these accusations, I will give it to it, allegedly, okay? It's always a little bit more down the rabbit hole. And, you know, she's harboring a fugitive in 5 years. So why she should be prosecuted on that? And yes, those people should keep knocking. Granted, they can tell you get off their property. Yes, you have to get off the property. I agree with that. However, everybody should be knocking on her door every day. Where is the justification for this big Tish? Big Tish, where's the justification? Are we confident? Are you confident in this? So where's the justification? Let's find the facts. Like she says, no one is above the law. No one. No one.
Well, apparently her niece is above the law. She's a fugitive. A fugitive that has been successfully housed in Big Tish. I wonder if she calls her Big Auntie.
Who knows? Yes, she should call her Big
but she's harboring a fugitive in and of itself is a crime in every state in the union. But more importantly, she really believes that she's above the law.
Yeah.
This doesn't apply to her.
All of them do. All of these Democrats believe they are above the law. So here's the details. Nakia Thompson, 38, has been living with her 3 children in James's Norfolk property since 2020, the same home at the center of James's bank fraud case. Court documents show Thompson is wanted for violating probation after misdemeanor convictions for assault and trespassing. So she's violent. She's aggressive. Officials say she has willfully avoided probation supervision and remains a fugitive, but because her offenses are considered low level, nothing is done about it. But she's still a fugitive.
Wait.
That's what I don't understand.
Wait a minute.
If they know she's there,
Read the crimes again.
Yes.
Says she's wanted for violating probation after misdemeanor convictions for assault and trespassing. So she has willfully avoided probation supervision. And remains a fugitive, but because of her offenses are considered low level, nothing is done about it.
So she was already convicted on the crimes. It's just that she's had probation. So if they know she's there, why aren't the probation officers going there to serve her or having someone go and serve her to say show up and answer? Why is that now? And we definitely know now if
Exactly
that's
where she is. But here's a better question. And generally, probation works this way. They give you a set of circumstances that you have to live up to, standards that you have to meet. And when you don't, even so much as one of them, they come and pick your butt up and you stand in front of the judge and you have to explain to the judge why you can't meet the standards of common decency. They're not asking you to be a super person. Keep your hands to yourself. The assault part, right? All of that. So why is her justice different than any other person in the Commonwealth of Virginia?
I suspect because of what you call her, Auntie Tish. I suspect because of Auntie Tish, allegedly, Auntie Tish is probably doing some behind the scenes networking across the state lines. I mean, they all know it's a small community, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
And then, you got the big black girl, support and the black girl magic stuff in there. That's my suspicion that all of that is going on. But I definitely want to know the next time someone goes there, I hope they take the probation officers with them.
First of all, Jason Maorius is a Republican. The AG in the Commonwealth of Virginia is a Republican. See, this is a slippery slope type of thing. So before Jay Jones became notorious for all of these text messages and killing babies in their mother's arms and all of that, he was just your regular type criminal, 126 miles an hour on a highway. Was convicted or confessed, whichever one, to that particular crime, was given a sweetheart deal of community service, of which he did at his own pack by having a staffer write a letter that said, yes, indeed, 2 lines, he did participate in raising more money for his campaign.
Wow.
Okay? So there's something inherently wrong with this. I get it. I know Maorius has done several interviews talking about his focus is on violent criminals, on bringing down the ratio. He said, I think 10% of all of the violent crime, or 10% of people commit 80% of the violent crime in the Commonwealth. So he was focusing on that 10%. But here's my thought. If you stop the next wave of 10% from coming, like people who don't follow a judge's order. I mean, the judge gives you an order. It's not, you don't get to say, well, I feel like I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I think this is common. I think that, this is part of it where people, we already know that they don't have enough police officers. They don't have enough probably in the federal, because it's federal who does the probation and that kind of stuff. So and they're all understaffed. So they're probably just doing what the big ones first. They're probably doing the more major crime people, and these types of people slip through the cracks. I'm sure this is probably going all over.
No, I'm the kind of petty that would show up at her house with the damn sheriff, be like, here she is, right here.
Yeah. Folks, tell us what you think. Do you think this is a big story? I think it is, particularly since we know this is Letitia James. She is supposed to be an officer of the law, and she is one of the ones that has gone after President Trump, and she's obsessed over him for years. And here she is doing this. So this is just another example, another thing to add to the list of grievances against her.
She was doing it when she was chasing Trump.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so she was actively committing crime while saying no one is above the law.
Right. Exactly. It looks like, folks, YouTube is having some technical difficulties on the desktop version. So if you're having trouble, it looks like you can watch on your phone, your cell phone, but there's an issue on the desktop. So sorry. But we do have some super chatters. Thank you all so much. All right, we have King Gates 1123 with the $10 super chat. We appreciate you. And folks, tonight we are doing something different. So you guys may have heard us talk about our intern here, Kamari.
Absolutely.
He is set to go to the military at the end of this month. And so we are where all the super chats that you guys give tonight, we are going to give to him, this young man, this talented man, who has been working with us for such a long time on the show. And we want to send him off in a grand style. So all super chats are going to Kamari tonight.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, he's an amazing young man. There is nothing that we can't ask him to do. Kamari, I'm thirsty. He comes down and gets us a drink. Kamari, my microphone. Kamari, hide these flowers so KJ doesn't see him. Like, he's my partner in crime in the greatest way. So be generous. Remember, this is a young man who's choosing to serve his nation. He has lots of opportunities, but I think it's amazing that he really wants to do this, and we support him. So hopefully you guys can dig a little deeper than normal for us so we can send Kamari off good. I'm going to get my phone out now and make my donation.
All right.
I'm going to save my comments for later because I'm very emotional about this, but him leaving. So I'll save my comments for later when we bring him on to say hi to you all.
All right. We have another super chatter here. Chadwick with the $5 super chat says, we apologize everybody that is having issues with YouTube. I dropped the X link into the chat. But we want you guys to stay on YouTube. If you can see it, go to your cell phones. Because we do want to get the views here on YouTube. But if you can't watch it at all, definitely check us out on X. All right, King Gates 1123 with the $20 super chat for Kamari.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. That is so kind. Thank you very much.
No matter where you're watching, hit those likes, that subscribe button, and the share.
Yes.
The share buttons.
Yes,
Share
indeed.
button.
Yes. Hit that like button as you all come in. That helps to tell YouTube to keep pushing this video out. We want as many people as possible to see it and share this broadcast. Send it in a DM, post it on your social media. We want more and more people to see this, folks. We want to build a community of like-minded people. All right. So let's keep it going here. All right. It's not save Kamari. It's send Kamari off. We're talking about save Kamari. All right. Yeah. It's send Kamari off. Yeah. It's not save him. There's nothing to save. Yeah. All right. So we are moving right along to the leaked chat, folks. So an expose published by Politico yesterday reveals thousands of messages exchanged by rising young Republican operatives calling opponents monkeys, celebrating gas chambers, and flirting with rape fantasies, all behind the veil of an encrypted chat. It's the Restore YR War Room was the name of this chat, spanning more than 2,900 pages and some 28,000 plus messages. Included state young Republican leaders from New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. So I'm not sure if you guys have been following this story. Some of the messages that have been shared are, for example, everyone who votes no is going to the gas chamber. Great. I love Hitler. That was in response, the general counsel for the New York Young Republicans quipped, can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. New York National Committee woman replied, I'm ready to watch people burn now. In one July exchange, Walker wrote, stay in the closet, F word. Even though Politico noted he was often the main target of that same slur within the group. The group also mocked Asian and Latino people. Is quoted to say, my people built the train tracks with the Chinese. This was the gentleman, he was referring to his Italian heritage. And then someone else said, let his people go. Keep the was this chinks though, I guess. So again, it's all, all of this is going on within this chat. Lots of stuff here. Looks like they were joking, very crass jokes they were making here. But this has gotten a ton of fanfare from the left and right, people who are upset by this. So I want to get you ladies' response on this. I'll start off by saying, as a Black woman, as a conservative, as a Republican, I don't really care. I'm sorry. I don't give a damn about these texts. I really don't. Folks, you don't know me, but in my text messages, in my emails, I have a wicked sense of humor. I will probably only show that side to a certain few people because I don't want this to happen to me. But I mean, call me, I don't know. I don't think this is a big deal. Shelly, you talk. I mean, what do you think?
Okay. KJ, I feel like you, okay?
Oh, okay.
First of all, and I feel like you for a whole different, some reasons, similar reasons. Free speech, say what the hell you want, number one. Number two, it was they're private conversations, number two. Number three, I don't know any of these people, and if they were probably in my space or in our sphere, whatever, I'm betting they probably would not say these things, at least in public. Okay, I'll give them that. But you can say whatever you want. They also seem very equal opportunity to me. I mean, can we say the words? I guess on YouTube. They said faggots and the bliggers, I'll say bliggers, niggas, bliggers, whatever you want to call it. They had chinks, they were all over the board, equal opportunity. So in that way, you can't say they discriminated against anyone. I really don't care. I don't live and breathe for what people say or call me. People that I love and that love me, that's a different story. But I don't know these people. I really don't. Now, I will say this. I can understand to a degree, why both sides are maybe poo-pooing this to a certain degree, because it came out. But to say to people, you can't say what the hell you want on your private text or whatever, that's a bit too far, because you could
I don't
probably...
think anybody's saying you can't say what you want.
No, they banned them. I mean, the board and whatever.
They fired,
they
let
fired
them
them, what
go.
I'm saying, in that sense, right? But this is the thing. This is what I would say to our side. We need, again, I've been sticking on this free speech certainly all year. We need to get it straight, quote unquote. What is free speech? What does it do? What does it mean? What does it not mean? Whatever. Because I'll be damned if somebody's taking my rights to say what the hell I want. I know YouTube does, whatever. Okay. But you can go down my text list too. And I probably have, no, I'm not gonna say I probably, I have said some things. I said some things. I may have called names, whatever. I don't care. I don't care.
What are your thoughts here, Nicole?
My thoughts are very different because I know the people that they were talking
Okay.
about.
Oh, okay.
So this is a very personal thing. And the young man that they called faggot and the, whatever YouTube. Sorry about your personal feelings.
No, that's fine.
But, and nigga and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And the Jewish girl, they're talking about cooking. And so it's very different for me because I know these people. I love these people.
Fair enough.
I want to protect these people. So my initial reaction to this was out and out rage. So let's have some clarity so we know where we are. These young adults, because most of them 30-ish, are a part of a slate that ran against another slate. So you had the Restore YR slate, that's their chat that got burned. And then you had the Grow YR slates. These are the people who actually won. So imagine you have this national organization, chapters all over the country, and you have one group who says, we're better at doing things that YRs want to do than this group who's already in power. The incumbents say, bring that smoke. It is what it is. Guarantee you there was smack talked in each chat.
Exactly.
Make no mistake, right? But they lost. And in losing, sometimes, especially when your heart is in something, you lose a seat. I don't know what that feels like because I've never lost, but I assume that it feels terrible. I assume that you feel like you threw your best up against the wall and you felt rejected. So I can only understand that they may have been in their feelings. With that said, this chat didn't go on simply after they lost. It happened before the election.
Okay.
So everybody has group chats. Here's the golden rule. And I've said this to quite a few of the candidates that I work with yesterday because they were like, people are burning people's chats.
Yeah.
People have been burning people's chats since you've been dumb enough to put stuff in the chat. Here's the golden rule. If you won't look dead straight into a camera and say it to your grandmother sitting on a couch watching you, do not put it in the chat. Do not. If you think everybody in that chat is crazy about you, there's always one person who used to be in the chat, who doesn't regularly watch the chat, who may one day log in and go, oh, I got her now. blah, blah, blah. Listen, it happens all the time. Politics are not for nice people.
Well,
not.
let's talk about this because again, I'm sure I have not seen all of the texts. I want to say the ones that I have seen, I don't see a big deal. They seemed like they were joking to me. Now, was it off-color jokes? Yes, it was. It was off-color jokes. But guess what? I make off-color jokes. I don't say them out loud, like in public. But if I'm amongst a chat or a text and we're with a group of people that make off-color jokes and everybody's doing it, yes, we've all been there. We make off-color jokes. But what is going on now is the media, the left, are using this as they have always done to say all Republicans are racist, all Republicans are homophobes, all Republicans are xenophobic. And I'm not going to let them do that. This is, to me, it was jokes. They were jokes. I don't know these people. You know them. So are they actual racists?
I can understand.
Are these people racist then?
Listen, I've not seen them behave in a way that's racist, but let me say this. When you talk to people and you call someone a monkey and you say that he's on the porch eating watermelon with his faggoty black self, blah, blah, blah. When you do that to someone who has tried to be your friend, who's tried to help you. So again.
So they're not friends with these people.
Oh no, they're all in one organization.
Organization.
All of them.
I understand.
They're battling for these one
because you know them, and it's from a political perspective. This is why I say from the political perspective, I can see how the light that this is quote unquote shining. Not necessarily. I mean, I know the media is trying to make it the party, but I definitely can see this quote unquote. I don't know, this infighting, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I can understand your point. I'm saying I know that it doesn't reflect on the larger party, right? I'm not losing sleep over this. Do I think from a political party group, whatever? Since they're out, it does look a little off, I would say. I can see that to a degree.
Off now because someone within the group outed them.
Burned them.
Yeah, they put this out to the media, which I think is that's awful. I think that's horrible. But let's talk about
my point. Right. My point is this.
They should have stayed within the group chat and maybe they have taken care of it in-house.
They have a code of conduct.
Right.
Like all organizations.
Exactly.
If I were in this chat and they started dragging my homie this way, then listen, it would have been ugly, but it would have been ugly within the organization. Now, I'm not trying to say that we're going to sweep it under the rug, but African-American people move in a different kind of way. When we got beef in our house, we keep it in our house. We solve it in our house, unless we have to go on the outside. Generally, these organizations function like smaller organizations that just kind of have like a national umbrella. They get together a couple times a year for events and that kind of thing. But like everything else in life, you can say what you want. You absolutely have the divine right as an American citizen to talk as much trash as you want to. But understand, if you're on the other side of that code of conduct, the discipline is what the discipline is going to be. Now, Kansas GOP, who decided that this person, one of the young men, and I think a girl or two that participated in this chat, were over their code of conduct.
Exactly.
And they conducted themselves and said, we're just going to inactivate the chapter until you guys learn how to do better.
I can see that from a political standpoint. Yeah. But what, KJ,
but before you go, because we do have some clips here, I want to get you guys in. So we aren't the only ones that are talking about this. Before we get into it, I want to acknowledge our super chatters. So we have here Wanda Sanchez for Kamari.
Thank you so much.
$10 super chat. All right. For Kamari, $20 super chat. Look, Kamari. Everybody's chipping in. Oh, this is awesome. $50 super chat. Wow. Thank you guys so much. All super chats are going towards Kamari. He is the young man here that is going off to the military. So we want to send him off with a huge, warm send off. And so thank you all so much. We really appreciate you. Sarah with the $2 super chat.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
All right. So Vice President J.D. Vance was actually talking about this as well. This is image 3. He comes off and he says, this is far worse than anything said in a college group chat. And the guy who said it could become the AG of Virginia. So he's talking, He said, I refuse to join the pearl clutching when powerful people call for political violence. So he's actually comparing it to what we talked about last week, the AG of Virginia and the nasty things he said there, calling for actual death to people. And he's saying when you compare those two, it's not a big deal at all. Also, Daily Wire's Matt Walsh had some words here in a text. This is image 1. He is talking, I'm sorry, is it image?
One of them.
Image 2. Okay, yeah, here he is. You can go back to image 1. I'm sorry. Yes. So he says, if you're a conservative and you have a problem with someone on the right, you can reach out to them privately and express your concerns. Performatively attacking and denouncing your own people in public is a bitch move.
Right.
Okay. And then he also goes on to say in another tweet, the right doesn't stick together. That's our biggest problem by far. Conservatives are quick to denounce each other, jump on dog piles, disavow, attack their allies. I said a few weeks ago that we all need to band together in the wake of Charlie's death. And the answer I got back from a lot of people on the right was basically no. Well, okay then, guys, just lose instead. The left will keep up the united front and defend their guys no matter what, while we keep throwing each other to the wolves at every opportunity. Great plan. All right, so I want to say this. I have no issue with responding and pushing back against someone who publicly displays a character that's just not right. So for instance, we have all talked about what Candace Owens has done. She is totally anti-Semitic. She is pushing it on her show, also pushing misinformation, disinformation, and we have called her out multiple times. She's come out against President Trump, come out against MAGA, all sorts of things, and we have called her out. To me, this is different. These were private text messages in a private chat. And to me, they came off as jokes. They did not come off as serious things that they were saying. They were joking. Now, I haven't read all of the text, so I may be wrong, but they were joking. And so to me, I don't see a big deal about it. Another thing, have you all seen the YRs? If you go to any YR page and you pull up them, I'll say 8 out of 10 YRs, you go on their social media, it's a group of people that look like Saint Bernards. All right. So these people, this is what they're going to do. They're going to talk about people behind their backs. They're going to make these stupid jokes and things like this because they look hideous. Okay. And that was a joke. That was a joke.
That was a funny joke, right? But you didn't call anybody a porch monkey or insinuate that a gay black man is so doing all this extra. But here's my point. And you're right. This was a private chat. Someone in the chat burned everybody in the chat. And when that happens, there should be discipline by the organization that they belong to, without question. Without question. However, as a black conservative Christian person, I reserve the right for when you come after my friend and call him a porch monkey and all this other foolishness. Yeah, there's going to be a little smoke. Yeah. You should anticipate smoke. And let me tell you, Matt Walsh, as much as I respect your journalistic integrity, sir, where were you when Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire were falling out all over the internet? And it was ugly. I didn't hear a damn thing. There wasn't a peep. There wasn't a tweet. Because back then we were tweeting. Remember the little blue bird? We were tweeting back then. We weren't posting things on X. So don't get brand new. Let's not do that. Let's remember that we all belong to the same organization. We are all very much individualistic. And if we're going to be honest, we know what survives in this party and what does not. We have to protect everyone. Not just the folks that we like, not just the people that we agree with. There's space in this party for everyone. We always talk about this big tent, a big ballroom, space for everybody, but there has to be a code of conduct so that people don't go too far off the farm. Now, these aren't teenagers by any stretch of the imagination. These are grown folk behaving poorly in a private chat. The lesson to be learned here is if you can't say it to your grandma, don't put it in the chat. If there's more than 2 people in the chat, 3 people, we got to chat. If we chat in our chat, that's fine. But if somebody gets their panties in a bunch and burns the chat, and let's say we're working for Fox News. We get picked up and we work for Fox News. Fox says, listen, you violated the code of conduct. You're all fired. We can't cry.
I mean, I just feel like, nobody can, again, you know these people. I don't.
Isn't this what we did with the people who trash talk Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, we. I was.
That was not this. This was private. This was
They
private.
violated.
This was private text messages making jokes about ethnic jokes and things like
Well,
that.
these people
Did
thought they
somebody
were funny.
died?
These people that were private.
These people thought they were funny.
comparing what people did to Charlie Kirk.
No, I'm staying on the free speech, right? I'm staying on the free speech. I don't think people, like I say, I've said this many times. I don't think people should be censored, even if I don't like what they say, even if they say horrible things about Charlie
They're
Kirk.
not being censored.
No,
You keep
I'm saying in
that,
general
yeah.
under the free speech banner.
Right,
I
nobody's
don't
being
care.
censored here.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just using it as an example.
Okay.
Even if they say something about Charlie Kirk, whom I adored and loved, right? I mean, I don't care. I don't want people to be taken off, even on the outside. I don't. But I do understand from a political, this does not look right. This doesn't look well on the Republican Party, young Republicans.
It doesn't look right because Republicans are making a big deal about it.
But yes, but hold on. They are making a big deal about. But to me, ultimately, what it shows is that I don't give a damn what party you're in. At the very base of us, this is the human baseness that people will go to the lowest level to give that gut punch to somebody. I mean, we do it in a sense here. I mean, granted, we don't know the people necessarily personally that we talk about in the media. They're public figures by and large. But as a human being, this is what humans do. They will go to the gut level just to do whatever, take that dig and all that. We all do it. We all do it. None of us is above it. Private text or public text. However, these young Republicans, they're most certainly naive. And I'm not saying they little young people like that,
young.
but they're very naive. They haven't really learned how politics really works.
Most of them
Well,
are.
let's talk about. So we do have another. You mentioned what's his name? The guy from Steven Crowder. He actually has something to say about it as well. So take a look here. This is clip 2.
I want you to remember this. Some private group texts where they made jokes about Indians smelling funny. Oh, where'd they get that? This is what they did, by the way, with Proud Boys. And I will say, this is what they did with January 6th. If they repeat it enough, you go, oh my gosh, that's right, January 6th. Oh my gosh, this is a white supremacist symbol. Oh my gosh, the Proud Boys. Right now saying the president can't say very fine people on both sides. They'll never tell you, by the way, that he condemned neo-Nazis and actual white supremacists. They're kind of folding it into their previous lie, trying to make you believe that kids joking around in a private group text are also white supremacists who should be condemned. Who, by the way, Donald Trump did condemn. I know it's really hard to follow.
All right. I mean, so are these? You know them? Are they white supremacists, Nicole?
No, and they're not children.
Right,
I wish they would stop. These are 30-year-olds. Some of them are 30 plus, about to age out of YRs at 40. I hate that they call it Organization Young Republicans because it insinuates that they're like 15, 16.
Right.
These are adult people, many of whom have political aspirations. It is a wonderful organization to learn how to run a campaign, how to serve other campaigns. It's a beautiful, wonderful organization. But just like any other organization, people should talk, right? That's not my point. My problem is not with what they said and how they said it to each other in that group chat. My problem is this. If you say things in the chat and the chat gets burned, you should know that the chat's going to get burned. Right. If there are more than 2 people in the chat, it will be burned. Right. When it gets burned and you're held to the standards of the people that in that organization, you cannot cry.
Oh, yeah,
you knew the rules when you started talking your trash.
So let me ask you this, or I'll ask both of you. Do you think this is a matter of, okay, now conservatives, we're covering ourselves, but we would do the opposite if this was on the left?
Listen, if this was the Young Dems, and let me guarantee you, the Young Dems burned the hell out of their chat when this story dropped. Let me tell you.
What would we say? We would say from the conservatives.
We would be dragging them for filth.
I think we would too.
We would be on here calling them everything but a child of God. But here's the thing. This is what I know about politics, and I keep saying this. There aren't many nice people in politics. This is where mean kids come to play, right? So they made somebody angry that they forgot was still attached to that chat. And they burned them. This happens. It happens not only to the YRs, it happens to regular Republicans. We have a case now where Jack Smith, I don't know how he got the subpoena, but got all the senators, Republican senators' cell phone numbers and went through their personal records, right? Senator Kennedy is like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to attach T-Mobile, whoever had any knowledge of this. So when you get burned and all of your so-called private things become public, You get held to the standard of your employer. This is what I mean, not what they said about Charlie Kirk, but the reasons why people lost their jobs. They didn't lose their jobs because they were extra super mean, and some of them thought they were funny. However, if they had their employer listed in their thing on their profile, they are held to their employer's standard of conduct. That's the thing.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. What do you guys think in the chat? I mean, sound off for us. Do you think that this was, we should call this out? We should push back against this?
I think we've overdone it.
Do you
Let's
think
just
it's
move
not that big of a deal? Definitely let
push
us know.
forward.
Let us know, folks. All right. We have some super chatters here. Thank you guys so much. All right. Let's see here. We have the Scrapping Beauty with the $10
wow,
super.
thank you so much.
Says,
Thank you,
Kamari, be well and prosper. All right. Yes, indeed. What else do we have here? Brown Eyes with a $50 super chat.
Come through, please.
It says supporting pop and politics. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brown Eyes.
All right, Laura.
I know, Laura
Testing
Matisse.
$2. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you so much. All right, Mark Garrett joined our membership. He gifted. He
Oh,
gifted,
wow. Thank you.
Pop and
Thank you,
Politics
Mark.
memberships. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Woo.
All right.
Wow.
Becky Cutler with the $50
Thank
super
you,
chat.
Becky.
Wow, Kamari, people love you, man. We're getting
sure we
yeah.
do.
MT with a $5 super chat says, I'm Black. I think those texts are gross. Not as bad as calling for someone's kids to be unalived, celebrating terrorism, unalivings, etc. though.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for sounding off. Liberty with the $20
Thank
super
you.
chat for
Thank you,
Kamari.
thank you for Kamari.
Yeah, folks, keep sounding off. Let us know what you think about these texts put out by the YRs and what the VP JD Vance is saying. He's sort of not so much defending them, but he's saying there's not a big deal there. Where do you fall? Let us know. All right. Speaking of organizations, we just finished talking about the Republican Party as an organization. Now let's talk about the NAACP. So the NAACP is back in the headlines, this time for their social media post honoring George Floyd on his birthday. Take a look at this. This is image 4. So the caption reads, George Floyd should be here today. We honor his spirit, his legacy, and continue to fight for justice. But the question many are asking tonight is, what legacy are we talking about? And we may not have that image here, but Shelley, what are your thoughts here?
When I saw that, I think I wanted to puke, okay? I'm sick of these people, these so-called Black or pro-Black pan-Africanism diaspora groups. Bliggers is what I'm calling them, bliggers.
I knew that
They
was coming.
always find the worst of the worst of the worst and uphold them, paint murals for them, put them on this pedestal. The legacy of George Floyd is fentanyl, dope, holding knives to pregnant women's bellies, drug addicts, stealing, robbing, all kinds of mayhem in the community. That's the legacy. And we have enough of that even without George Floyd, okay? But he certainly does not deserve any kind of accolades as if he was this upstanding citizen. Now, granted, I know you all, I'm not even going to how he died or when he died, but he was a damn bligger. I'm going to call him a bligger. He was a bligger. He was a jackass. He was a criminal. He was a thug, okay? He was a nigger. That's what he was. Sick of it. He does not represent anything, and there should be no day honoring him, his parents and his family, his loved ones. Go to his gravesite, put some flowers, wipe off the tombstone, say a few prayers. Fine, that's it. The rest of us, we say to hell with George Floyd. I'm not saying I hope he's in hell. I'm saying to hell with him.
Yeah, I mean, certainly not someone to uplift as, this with this post. Nicole, what are your thoughts?
They're pandering. This is back to being political again. They're pandering to a certain subset of Black America who feels downtrodden, who feels oppressed, who feel like the world hasn't treated them fairly. Here's the thing about being oppressed. The only person 2025 who is oppressing you is you. Yeah, the opportunities abound. Now, some opportunities do require more work than others, right? But you can't expect success to come falling on top of your head. That's not how life works. George Floyd, for all of his faults and everything else, was a human being, right? Now, Shelley's right. His family can mourn his passing. He was somebody's son and all this other foolishness, right? Great. But when we talk about what uplifts and inspires the Black community, it should not be that. You know what they should have had a presser about? Ben Carson getting Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Oh, no, they're not going to do that.
Oh, listen, once they found out that he was a conservative and Detroit renamed the school because they didn't want it to be associated with Ben Carson, you know, when we talk about men in the Black community who uplift, who inspire, they never want traditional men. They would rather elevate a criminal and say, well, yeah, he did beat people up. Yeah, he was a drug addict. Yeah, you know, tried to kill a baby in utero. Yeah, all of that. But they should have never touched him. He should still be alive today. Well, can I tell you, you know, maybe, perhaps if he were alive today, he'd likely be locked up.
Yeah.
He'd likely be locked up.
It's terrible. It's embarrassing, honestly. You have the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, and they use their social media to post about George Floyd, calling him, saying that he celebrate the life of George Floyd. But you talk about abortion, they're not celebrating all those lives.
What about his victims? Did they call his victims and say, you know what? Let's make you whole. Right. Let's make you whole. Let's go ahead and pay the rest of his restitution for assaulting you. Let's do that, right?
But this is what we see here. We're seeing a culture that support and advocate for George Floyd's. And so what have we? We have George Floyd, nothing but a culture of George Floyd's. And so this is what they breed, you know, in this community. NAACP, National Action Network, all of these communist grift organizations, they breed a bunch of George Floyd's. So we aren't surprised when we see them pay homage and pull up these statues and things. This is the clip. This is the post here for George Floyd, because this is what they love and they show to
a
life stolen.
You know why they're doing it too. I just realized I forgot George Floyd and Charlie Kirk shared the same birthday.
Oh,
they shared the same birthday, and a real side point. This is also why they put that Politico story out to overshadow the ceremony yesterday
with
for
Charlie
the
Kirk.
Medal of Freedom.
Yeah.
So all of this is don't think it's not. It's all related. This is why they wanted to do that. But it's a sad commentary, I would say, on the Black community in general.
Indeed.
When these organizations, they can't find one Black person, if you will, that's doing well against all odds, so to speak. You know, whatever it may be, school, entrepreneur, whatever they can't find somebody like that. How about King Randall down in I think Georgia, with the Black boys that he's teaching and all kinds of stuff. They can't find that, but they have to use somebody like this low life, like this guy, George Floyd, the NAACP of all.
Wow.
Does any other community do this? Any other Asians? I don't know. Do that?
Let me tell you something. Most other communities, and it's not just Asian. I'm also talking about, because we're talking about NAACP, which is a Black organization. African, Caribbeans, they feel shame when things like this happen. You know, they hide when a family member or someone in the community does something like becomes a George Floyd type person. They're ashamed of that. You know, but it's only Black Americans who actually put up statues, and the NAACP of all organizations honor him on his birthday. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Here's something that happened that they could have pointed out that, you know, 2 points. They should have pointed this out. So there was a shooting. I can't remember where it was, but I think the kid's name was Elijah Wilkes. And, you know, his family, people came out because it was a Black kid shot by a cop, and everybody was angry and all of that. And the family went out and hired them one of those civil rights mouthpieces, blah, blah, blah. Well, the video comes out. And guess what? The aunt goes to the microphone, tears in her eyes, heart broken into a million pieces, and you can feel the grief on her. And she says, my nephew was wrong. He did the wrong thing. The video clearly shows him doing the wrong thing. He made a bad decision and it cost him his life. And I don't want any other Black man, young Black man, making these same decisions. And then you cut to the mouthpiece. And the mouthpiece, believe it or not, I almost passed out. The mouthpiece said, she's right.
Yep.
Wilkes was wrong.
Yep.
You saw him shoot at the cop. He's aggressive with this off-duty police officer. This officer was defending himself. He was wrong. Now, would the NAACP like to put that out on blast? Would that not bring some healing to America a little bit? Because, Shelley, you're right. This is a thing for Black America, but can I tell you it's a thing that affects all of America? When we don't hold ourselves as Black people to a high standard and we act like toddlers in a world full of adults, they treat us like toddlers. This is where we get the paternalistic school of thought, the maternalistic school of thought, and then people rally and say, well, they treat us like kids. It's because we act like children.
Yeah.
It's because we act like children. So we have to make a decision. We're either going to be the toddlers who need support and care, Uncle Sam always giving you a tit to suck on, feeding you just enough for you to come back and be hungry the next month, or we're going to grow up and stand on our own 2 feet like the Wilkes family did. My heart breaks for them. I pray for that family. I pray for that family. My heart breaks for them, but they made the right decition.
Absolutely.
They were honest.
And our children don't have mentors. Our children, when we're talking about, you have organizations that are supposed to be, some of the backbone of the Black community, support and uplift people like George Floyd. The kids don't have mentors. And that takes us to our next clip. We're talking about things that within the Black community that are uplifted and supported. We have this rapper, his name is Shamar, was invited to a Florida public school to inspire young children. Take a look. This is clip 3.
Stepping inside of the schools, these kids go crazy when they see you. Some kids are crying, they're emotional. Tell me how that makes you feel to know that you're making a difference in the world.
All right, so that is Shamar Marco. He is an openly queer American rapper, comedian, and social media influencer, known for his collab hit song with Fendi the rapper, Clock Dat. The song, which is now viral on social media, has resulted in one of the most viral dance moves in recent days, with millions of people imitating Shamar's moves on the song. We have some images. So again, he has a disability. He has scoliosis. You can see here. He's had it since he was a child. He's queer. He's dressed as a woman there. And most of his music is vile and nasty, full of profanity and sexualization of all kinds of people. He's always putting up his middle finger. This is who they bring to it looked like it was a middle school or an elementary school for kids to inspire them. Why? Shelley?
They do it because they can.
Thank you.
and they get away with it. And they get away with it because this is a public school on our tax dollars. I don't care what state it is. This was Florida. Notably, they have a little bit better education rankings, but nevertheless, they do it because they can. Where are the parents who should be in that school standing up? First of all, it wouldn't even be happening in the school that I went to or my child went to, but nevertheless, they do it because they can. This is also emblematic of the Democratic Party. This is what they do. They bring out the celebrities and the shaking your asses and the sexy reds and whatever this guy's name is. They do that, and not only do they do it on the election scene, they do it for our children. And this is where it starts. This is why that little girl dancing there. I mean, again, I love dancing. I don't have a problem with children dancing, but this is just not appropriate, okay? This is not appropriate for her to be dancing like that with a grown man, notably, in the whole scene. Then you have the teacher or the administrator, giving him accolades. This is lunacy. If we wonder why our children can't read or write, but they can surely shake their asses with Shamar.
Yeah. Nicole, I mean, where is the sense of decorum and just why would someone want this guy for their kids to look at his videos and to see him? He can barely speak the English language. He's queer and he's very sexual about it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Listen, culture-wise, there are always going to be poor people, and not poor just in money, but poor spirit, poor of self-worth. I get it. I get that certain administrators think that this is a good way to incentivize the kids to have something that the children might like because it is viral. However, you have to temper that with the understanding that their parents were the ones who likely voted for Kamala because Megan Thee Stallion was flapping her cheeks, and Cardi B, who couldn't read the teleprompter, had to read her speech from her cell phone. There's a certain part of our culture, not just Black culture, but culture, American culture, that puts these people, because they're influencers, because they can sing, because they can dance, on a pedestal. Instead of looking for inspiration in things that are long lasting, they'd rather celebrate something that's fleeting.
But this thing that we just saw can't sing, he can't dance.
Oh, no. That dance, honey,
he just
is
viral now.
It's viral. And that's what happens.
Scoliosis dance?
I don't know. I mean,
Wait,
half the time
this is not stopping him.
And he's a trans. He's cross-dressing. I mean, is this what we want our children to emulate and to see? I mean,
yes, they do.
Yes, they
do. So when you think about how much in this little bit of 10 or 9 months, the Trump administration has rolled our culture back to some sort of normalcy. But remember where we were this time last year. That was normal.
Exactly.
That was absolutely normal. We had Barack Obama, quote unquote, the first Black president, telling people that your children should have queer friends,
Absolutely.
should have queer men in their life. This is what they see as normalization. And what they do is they make it palatable to children so that as they grow up, they don't see it as offensive. They don't see it against God's will. They don't see it about ruining our culture and community. It's one thing to think about it from a child's perspective, because for the kids, this was just a fun day. But from an administrator's perspective, this is her influencing these children in a way that their parents likely did not have a problem with. This is what the Democrats believe in.
Well, yeah, because they don't think much of the culture of the community. I'll say not the culture, the community. And it's clear who they put up in front of our youth, who they praise, who they support, who they advocate for. We have some super chatters here, folks. Thank you all so much. Let's see here. All right, we have MT with the $2 super chat, says Young Dems, aka Serial Killer Convention.
Let's not even bring up that trash, because they're trying to pretend like it never happened.
Yeah. Wanda with the $2 super chat
Wanda.
says, I can give a raspatootie about the text. Okay, all right. Thank you, Wanda. Melanie says, for Kamari, God bless. Absolutely. Jennifer says, has become a YouTube member, from our Freedom Seekers Club. Great way to support the channel. Yes. Tijuana, dang, I hate being late. Hi, Nicole, and all the ladies of pop and politics. Thank you. Chadwick with the $5 super chat says, these parents piss me the F off. Show me this happening in any other culture. Right. No, I don't see anything.
I just want some understanding, clarity. Seriously. Now, was he dancing like that Because that's the dance, or because of his scoliosis, he couldn't move.
No,
his
that's the dance.
Both.
Oh, that is
He has scoliosis, so whenever he walks, he moves his whole. He looks like an S. He's got an S shape.
But I didn't know if that was
that's just the dance.
Okay,
That's just the dance.
Right,
That's just the way the dance is done, and you know, it's a popular dance.
Right.
But here's the thing: the dance and his presence in the school,
right,
two wholly separate things. Because when your kid's at home and you see them watching that, as a parent, you can close the laptop. You can grab the tablet and take it away from them. But at school, these parents likely didn't know that this was going to happen until it was too late.
But they're the ones that's not closing the laptops, because all them children knew the dance already before
First
he
of all,
got
knew
there.
every word of the song.
Exactly.
Clock that.
Well, it's not
that.
just here in the schools like this. It's actually this type of behavior where we're seeing the Democrats and these leftists look at their constituents and people within the community with just poorly is on the Supreme Court as well. So we moved to this U.S. Supreme Court case. Today, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments today in a case originating in Louisiana v. Calais, centered around how legislatures should consider race when drawing congressional districts. In this next clip, we have Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson discussing the case in oral arguments, and she compares Black people not electing their preferred candidates to disabled people not being able to enter buildings. This is clip 5. Take a look.
I guess I'm thinking of it, of the fact that remedial action, absent discriminatory intent, is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled. In fact, we use the word disable in Milligan. We say that's a way in which you see that these processes are not equally open.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. So, Nicole, what is she talking about when she's saying that there are processes in place where minorities are the outcomes have been unequal due to some type of racial disparaging? That's what I'm confused on. And she comparing that to the disadvantage of the disabled.
Right. So what she's saying is the process disables Black voters from choosing Black people for their congressional seats. That's her argument. Her argument is that given the opportunity to vote for whomever they like is not good enough because they need a certain number of people to come from Black districts to be Black. Now, here's the rub with this. This is how Democrats do everything. When you take a look at their national bylaws, they have a man and a woman of this, a man and a woman of that. They live their life in these little silos. The argument then becomes, does the entire country now have to follow the Democrat plan that says, what if a Black person chooses a white candidate? You vote for the white guy because you like the white guy. The white guy does great work. You pick the Filipino dude. He does great work. But coming from a Black district, if your only recourse is to vote for the 2 Black people that they tell you the only 2 Black people that you can vote for, is that not, quote unquote, disabling that particular electorate? Yes. Her argument is circular. It's like a circular firing squad. We are not going to say these Black people are going to have to elect a Black person. That's what they want. They want these Black districts so that there's a greater likelihood that there'll be a black candidate that comes out of that. What I'm saying is we should not say that this is a majority minority place and this is the place where we're going to get a black candidate. We can get a black candidate from anywhere. Wesley Hunt, almost all white district, right? Byron Donalds is running for the governor of Florida, not just black Florida, but all of Florida. This makes black people, as she says, disabled. Their view of us being children on the world stage is there in her argument. This is a maternalistic school of thought because black people aren't smart enough to pick their own electeds. We have to help them.
Yeah, let's get into the details of the case, and then I want to bring you in, Shelley. So this is Louisiana has 6 seats in the U.S. House. Black residents make up about 1/3 of Louisiana's population. After the 2020 census and redistricting, the Louisiana legislature, which is Republican controlled, adopted a map giving only 1 majority black district, leaving 5 majority white districts. So my question here is, why are we focused on the race? That's my first question. I don't understand what the difference does that matter?
Okay, so they're using the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the subsequent changes or additions to that, number one. So that's what they're basing this on. So basically that act says, basically black people had to have access to voting, in a nutshell.
Right, we know that.
She's saying, Ketanji Brown basically is saying being black is now a disability.
Exactly.
Being black, so now we have to use the ADA Disability Act to coincide with or overlap whatever the VRA, because now being black is a disability, and now we need the lawyers, the politicians, the government to make all this voting, do everything they can to make black people or give them the opportunity to vote black, because being black is a disability. So now we have to elevate it where you can't discriminate against being black. If you do that without making the districts, then you are discriminating, because also part of the Voting Rights Act, the different sections, says that there are certain minority groups and certain language groups that you cannot discriminate against.
Right.
Basically, certainly, definitely on color, creed, all that stuff. So basically, bottom line, these people, Ketanji Browns of the world and others like her, NAACP as a group, they really don't believe that black people are capable of thinking for themselves. Remember the old pictures when back in, I don't know, the day with racism, behavioral intelligence,
Yes.
they had black people coming from the monkeys and going up the chart. That's what they think of us as. They are the ones who think that we are chimpanzees and monkeys, and they think that we are animals, not in the human sense. They really believe that we are primates in need of their, whatever, education, their guidance. They certainly need to draw districts so that we are only given the opportunity to vote, and we only see people that look like us in skin color because that's your disability. So you have to be given an opportunity to vote for a disabled person.
Yeah. And so the legal challenge under the Voting Rights Act came up because black voters and civil rights groups sued, arguing the map diluted their voting strength in violation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which forbids election practices to dilute minority voting power, even absent proof of discriminatory intent. So basically, this Republican-controlled legislature change the districts.
Yes, they redistrict.
Right.
We talked about this
before.
before.
Right.
We brought this up when we were talking about redistricting. But see, here's the rub.
And they redistrict, and the way they redistrict now, there are less black districts. Is this what it is?
Yes, they're saying there's fewer opportunities for black people to be elected because the districts they're reapportioned, which they're supposed to be based on population. Okay,
Thank you.
But just so happens that because of the demographics, remember, demographics, the category or the field of demography, there are 3 main components: migration, deaths, and births.
Yes.
This is what changes an area, a geographic area. Yes. So Louisiana has had some incoming, outgoing, I'm talking about legal citizens, incoming, outgoing, births, deaths.
Especially
so
after
now it looks a little different. It may not be mostly black in whatever those areas were. So they are apportioning it based on the census of the Louisianans.
Right.
Listen, and not only that, listen, here in Maryland, and this is why this is very interesting to me, and I talked about it before in another show. When we talk about redistricting for minority groups, technically Republicans are a minority group here in this very blue state, right? So when they redistrict our voting districts and they carved out all of the Republican areas into these little tiny pieces to blend in with these bigger Democrat pieces, they did indeed dilute our vote. So we sued them and we lost. You know why? Because it doesn't blanking matter, right? You want to win an election, you got to get out here and fight for it. So what did we do? We elected a Republican governor, Larry Hogan, who took the first damn map that came available. Don't even get me started. I'm still salty about it. Don't even get me started. We used to be 4 Republicans, 4 Democrats congressionally here in this state of Maryland. Now, what are we? 7-1.
7-1.
And he's saber rattling with the one that we have. Absolutely, because all it's going to take to make it harder for Andy Harris to win that seat, because the eastern shore of Maryland is less population dense than the western side of Maryland. So they'll just add in a little bit more of Anne Arundel County into his district, and he won't be able to amass enough votes, at least in their mind, to get him across the finish line to be the only Republican elected in this state. Now, I'm saying if Ketanji Brown is going to say that, you know, if you're a minority, you're disabled, then all the Republicans in this state should develop a limp. You hear me?
Exactly.
Let's limp and get us 4 more seats. But that's not fair and it's not right. It is not the American way. That's not how we do it here. And she knows better than that. That's why she's reaching with this ADA stuff. But calling black people disabled and said NAACP says nothing.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Oh, they love it.
Nothing?
They love it.
Come on now.
Yeah, and she's advocating for congressional district racial quotas. Take a look here. This is clip 7.
I don't understand why your answer to Justice Kagan's question about is this a compelling state interest is no. The answer is obviously yes, that you have an interest in remedying the effects of racial discrimination that we identify using this tool. Whether you go too far in your remedy is another issue, right?
Your Honor, I think step 0 in all of these cases, it was certainly step 0 in the Robinson litigation, is the plaintiffs came in and said, we want another majority black district.
I thought they came in and said, we are not receiving equal electoral opportunity because our votes are being diluted.
Which is the same way of saying we deserve a second
No,
majority
it's
black
not,
district.
because that, again, just trust me on this. The second electoral or second district is a remedy that one could offer for a problem that we've identified. And the whole Robinson litigation was about identifying the problem. Is this really happening? In many, many Section 2 cases, the court says, you're wrong, you're fine. There is not an electoral opportunity being denied to you, go away. In this case, the court said, I see. I'm looking at the factors. I appreciate what you're saying. You've proven that we have this problem. And so the next question is, how do we go about remedying it?
But what is the problem?
Yes.
What is the problem?
From her perspective, the problem is that there is no longer an all-black majority-minority district that they can reliably, send Democrats into to get these low-information voters to vote for more Democrats.
But why does there have to be an all? To me, that's where I'm lost. I don't understand why there has to be an all-black representative district.
Because listen, if they had to compete, do you think they could?
Right. That's their thing. They starting with the low ball.
Yes.
That black people are not able to think in beyond skin color. So we put them in all black districts, or we carve out the district, and we only give them black people to vote for, and they won't vote black. I mean, that's it. They're taking away the opportunities, the competition, they're taking away all of that because the Ketanji Brown Jacksons of the world believe ultimately in her arguments that black people are disabled and therefore they're dumb.
Listen.
Basically retarded.
Listen,
before you go, Justice Clarence Thomas pushed back on this, folks. Take a look here. This is clip 8.
What role did Robinson play in the development of SB 8?
Justice Thomas, Robinson is the only reason SB 8 exists. We fought tooth and nail in the Robinson litigation itself in telling the courts that we did not think the Constitution permitted us to draw a second majority black district. As you know, under protest, we drew SB 8 because the threat was that the federal courts were going to do it if we didn't. And that's, I mean, I think that's the best way to conceive of why SB 8 exists. We would never pass SB 8 in the first instance without Robinson, Justice Thomas.
What were the findings in Robinson?
The finding by the Middle District in Robinson was that the plaintiffs in this case were likely to show a violation of Section 2, and the likely violation, and I'm using very broad terminology because I do not know what the underlying violation is. I can't articulate that for you, Justice Thomas, because I don't think anybody can. But I think the finding in the district court's mind in that case was that the likelihood of a Section 2 violation meant that a majority black district was required, a second one. And I think like that was the bottom line, and when our legislature saw that, we understood the marching order, and that's why you see SB 8 as it exists today.
Just briefly, what were the findings that led to that conclusion?
Well, Your Honor, running through the preconditions and the totality of the circumstances, I mean, I think the totality of the circumstances did most of the work for the Middle District in Robinson. Senate Factor 1, the official history of past discrimination, Justice Thomas, we can never outrun the bad era of poll taxes, of grandfather clauses, of literacy tests. I think we're always going to lose across the board on that kind of analysis, and that's what the Middle District in Robinson focused on, is how bad was Louisiana in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and, you know, add all that together, and at the end you have a vote dilution finding that I don't think is clearly articulable in the way that SFFA requires a finding of discrimination to be specified.
All right. So again, yeah, it was a great argument. I mean, we can't use racial discrimination to fix these problems or racial quotas.
You can't out racism. You just can't. You cannot.
These people want it both ways, and I'll say this because discrimination, in theory, there's positive and negative discrimination, right? They want it both ways. Mm-hmm. They want the negative discrimination to stop, quote unquote, in their minds from the white people who's keeping them out of opportunities. But when the opportunity arises, they want the positive because they want black people to be favored positively, discriminated against everyone else. So they want it both ways. This is ludicrous. Go back to what we're supposed to do. Population, and you divide the districts based on the population. That's it. Regardless of who's in the district, skin color, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just divide it by the population of your state.
Nicole, so when they make these districts, what goes into making them? Because I'm confused on that.
Well, so it depends on who's in power, right? So here in Maryland, what goes into coming up with the decisions on what these districts look like are based on keeping them in power. Again, politics is not about
So it's
logic.
not about location.
No. We lived in Maryland with the broken wing pterodactyl for however. I mean, like Maryland's congressional map literally looked like a broken pterodactyl whose wing was back like this, whose head was this way. I mean, they did everything they needed to do to push us out of those 4 seats. And listen, as much as I want to cry and rant and rave about it, to the victor goes the spoils. That's how politics works. But they don't want it to work like that. They want it to be pre-gamed. What she's saying is, because of these past wrongs, because the state of Louisiana did this wrong back then, we need something that's going to level the playing field. And this is how we got all the Voting Rights Act amendments, not the original Voting Rights Act, but the amendments. Okay, so you've got these districts that are carved out. What they're saying is they don't even have the population for these districts anymore. We've got one that meets the federal criteria. Why do we need to draw a second one when the one we have is not even full? Right? Why do we need to continue to pay for the sins of our grandfathers today? It's not an issue for us today. It is not. But
my question is, even if it is all white districts, let's say the whole thing is all white districts, how can they say that is going to lead to that's what I'm. What are they saying?
Because they're using race as the criteria in that instance. They're using skin color. They're not using the population. Just for argument's sake, Maryland has about 6 million people. Let's just round it off. Technically, base apportionment would be 6 districts for 1 million people, just in theory. But if these districts, according to them, if all based on you, more white people or all white, then there's going to be black people going to be disabled, or they're disabled, so therefore they won't have the opportunities. Then you got to bring in the ADA, because they need to carve out even more districts so that the black people, the disabled people, will have the opportunity to vote for a black person.
Even if it is a black person running, who's to say that they're?
That's the point.
I agree with
that.
They don't think that we can think like that.
They see us as children. Again, this is that maternalistic school of thought. Just imagine, if you would, if, there was a wonderful Republican governor, and a wonderful Republican governor had a chance to do the redistricting and decided that Prince George's County needed to be busted up. There are too many Democrats in Prince George's. So we're going to add, 10,000 people from Prince George's into St. Mary's. And then we're going to add another 10,000 people from Prince George's to the Eastern Shore. That's diluting their vote.
Right.
That is breaking up a Democrat powerhouse, right? Let me tell you, there would be Democrats setting their baby's hair on fire.
But I get that. I mean, that's this. I understand the argument there because you're separating it based off of politics. So maybe somebody in that district is, but the racial thing makes no sense to me.
Well, it doesn't make any sense, but this is how they think.
Exactly.
Because remember, they don't think of people as individuals. They think of them in silos. Everybody has a silo. You don't get to get out your crab barrel unless we assign you a new barrel. And what she's saying is, you don't get to tell black people or minority people they can only have one district. What's the reason? We have a problem. There's a documented problem. Back in the day, there was a problem. We're not going to allow you to have another problem. And the remedy to the problem that you don't have is the continuation of the solution that we had for the problem way back when.
Exactly.
Circular logic.
Yeah.
Well, here's the good old NAACP arguing at SCOTUS that it's necessary to create race-based congressional districts because white Democrats were not voting for black candidates, whether they were Democrats or not. This is clip 6.
That's right. And in the state of Louisiana, that analysis was conducted in the Nairn case. And it was clear that regardless of party, white Democrats were not voting for black candidates, whether they were Democrats or not. And we know that there is such a significant chasm between how black and white voters vote in Louisiana that there's no question that even if there is some correlation between race and party, that race is the driving factor.
Can you comment on the Solicitor General's suggestion at page 20?
Well, they sound like a bunch of racists to me. Yes. I mean, I don't understand and how did Obama get elected?
Bottom line, in her argument, all white people are racist, and they're certainly even more racist because they don't vote for black people. I mean, that's it.
But what I'm saying is the whole reasoning that Ketanji Brown Jackson is saying that we need these black congressional districts. That sounds like they're racist, right?
But it does.
She's advocating, saying black people are only going to vote for black people.
That's the positive discrimination.
That is, but listen, you can't be mad at her. She's, how she got this job is because she was black at the right time of being black. So when you've been fed, you've only understood success based on this type of particular racism, but they don't call it racism. They call it a correction of past wrongs.
Right.
That correction of past wrongs is how you think you've gotten to power. Not because you worked harder than everybody else, not because you studied longer than everybody else, not because you knocked every door in the district 3 or 4 times, but simply because I'm black and you're black, you should vote for me.
That's it.
And that is what their whole philosophy is.
Wow.
Black people should vote for black people, and shame on white Democrats. Shame on you for not voting for black people. How dare you not vote for black people?
Exactly.
After what your culture put us through, you should vote for black people just on the strength of you being white.
That's it. It's almost a form of reparations for voting.
It absolutely is reparations.
Well, I really hope this is overturned. What is
white
it?
Guilt.
Overturned?
They go with that white guilt.
Oh my
They
God.
make them feel ashamed. They, like I said, they read those land grants at all their meetings, and we're living on stolen land and this and that. They live in a time and a space that doesn't make logical sense. It just does not.
My goodness. Folks, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think on this. We have some super chatters here. Let's see what we got. Thank you so much. All right, we have Tijuana Border Jumper.
Hey, I said that's right.
If you cannot define a woman, you have no worthy opinion, period. All right, yes. He also says, I cannot argue with Nicole's reasoning.
Thank you, Tijuana.
All right. April Quinn with the $5 super chat says, proud of this young man for defending our country. My son is a Marine and I'm an Army brat. Thank you. All right. Those are April. All super chats tonight are going to Kamari. He is off to the military at the end of this month, and we want to send him off in a major way. So all super chats are going towards him. He is our intern here. He's been with us for a while now. He's a great help. We're going to miss him so much. And we're going to bring him on so you guys can meet Kamari in just a moment here. So you guys can meet him and so you can see the remarkable young man that we love and support and who you are supporting tonight with your super chats. All right.
You can hear him upstairs.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, we're going to bring him down. Yeah.
Hey, Kamari.
Come on down, Kamari.
Yeah.
Here he comes.
Yes, he does. Yeah, so great night of topics tonight, folks. Thank you all for watching. Yes, this is Kamari.
Kamari.
Woo! All right. Are you going to go over this side? All right.
Oh, go back to where you were.
Oh, what? Ooh.
Giovanni's
He said stay where you were.
Oh, okay.
Bring it up some more, Kamari.
Can we get it over there? Because I know Shelly wants to have a conversation.
Well, that's fine. No, that's fine. Jamar, I mean,
is he there?
Stay right there.
Oh, because he wants to use the mic. Okay.
Oh, okay. So,
can we get Shelly on camera or no?
Can you make the shot lighter?
Oh, move your chair over there.
You know what?
Just share my mic with me.
Yeah. We can bring the mic over if we need to. Yeah.
Y'all got to give us a few minutes here.
Listen, the person who usually does all the mic movement is
right
Kamari, right?
So you got to come up some more. I don't think you're in the picture. Okay.
You want me to move the table so you can see?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. You got it.
You know I'm clumsy.
Yes, thank you. All right, there you go. We're working it out.
All right, that's better?
Yes. Okay. There we go.
That's better.
We got 1/4 of Kamari. We'll take it.
All right, come. You got
There you go.
All right. So, what was it? Okay. So, Kamari, I wanted to say to you, number one, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Number one, you're like a son, a son to me, or auntie, either one. Okay. But I am going to miss you tremendously. Kamari has been here with us, I think about 2 years, give or take, right? And when we first met him, he was just, I'm going to say this in a cute way. He was this little scraggly little boy.
Not scraggly.
Oh yeah, you didn't see what he was. No, I'm joking.
Not as fly as he in here. Come on now.
But I'm going to miss you.
Definitely. I definitely miss y'all too.
You're leaving. I'm saying this in a loving way. You're leaving a boy, but my prayer is that you will definitely come out as a man. I think you are going to do good things, great things. I know God has a purpose for you. I am proud of you, not just because you're going into the military, but the courage that it takes to do so. And I'm going to miss you so much.
Yes.
I'm going to miss you so much.
I love to hear. Like I've been here for a very long time. When I first came here, I barely knew anything about politics, and being here for almost over a year, like it's changed my perspective in many ways. I would say I was kind of blindsided because like younger people, we don't really care or even think to look at the news or politics. But it's kind of like I'm actually seeing and understanding the world.
Wow.
I know. He's going to make us cry. Don't you make us cry. I got
too much makeup.
Don't play with me.
I got on falsies.
Right. Don't play with us tonight.
Lashes, that is.
Well, thank you guys so much for the super chats. Again, they are all going to Kamari.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Do you want to say anything about what you're going to do, or
what military?
Okay, so I'm actually going in as a 15P, which is aviation, and I'm trying to do air traffic control.
Wow, we need air traffic controllers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's her phone, I think.
I don't understand.
That's not my. No, it's not my.
Your tablet.
Oh, your tablet. Oh gosh. Okay.
So Kamari, here's what I know about young men. We'll always see you as how we saw you, right? No matter how big and tough and strong you get, you will always be the Kamari who never gets our shoes in the picture. You'll be the Kamari who takes 1,000 pictures without even saying he's ready. He doesn't say anything. He just stands there with the cell phone and he's like, clack, 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 clack. And you're like, are we taking pictures? What's going on? So when you guys see pictures of us on Instagram and we look like this, it's because we were not ready. But when you see the finished product of the great eye that this young man has, We look at the pictures, we're like, oh, well, wait a minute. Oh. Yeah, so I guess we're going to just have Giovanni taking pictures of us from now on, so it's going to be what it's going to be. But we're going to miss you because of the energy that you bring into our space. That calm, steady energy is a wonderful thing that young men have. Don't lose it.
Thank you, and I really appreciate it.
When you come.
Yes, indeed. Yes, I really I love that you mentioned that energy because that's what I get from you.
Yeah.
And when you look at so many young kids, I'll say young adults nowadays, they don't have that spark in their eye anymore, but you still do.
Yeah.
And so I just pray that God guides you and that you are protected and that you grow and that you have all types of experiences, and it's going to be challenging. It's going to be rewarding. And we are just so thankful for you and what you're doing and what you've done, because MCM, Metro Conservative Media, this company is sort of like a baby, and you were here with us from the very beginning. Well, not very beginning, but most of the beginning. And you have just been a blessing to us. So thank you so much for all you've done.
And this is what I want to say to the NAACP. This is the damn mural.
That's what should be up.
The day we should have. These are the kind of boys and young men in the community, the black community, whatever, that should be uplifted and encouraged to do this. Shame on you, NAACP. Shame on you.
Right, because listen, they'll walk past 1,000 Kamaris and find a crackhead down the street who can't conjugate a verb, and it'll be his day. But this is why we celebrate you. We celebrate you because you've made the right decisions. You got your education. You've chosen a career path. This is what God intended for you, and continue to walk in God's steps, because we're going to cover you in prayer.
Right. And we are expecting big things from you. Great things.
We expect greatness. We expect greatness. Now, I know, boot camp is tough and hard and all this other stuff. I was married to a soldier.
And
so
I know how that
I
did it.
Right? But understand the expectations that we have for you are born out of love. You have the capacity for greatness. You have all of the things you need to live a tremendous life. The expectation is that you do so. And if you think for 1 minute that we're not going to let you do that, we're going to let you fall by the wayside, you should know there is no wayside.
No, there
is no wayside.
We're
going to be on you like white on rice.
Yes, I have high expectations for you. We are going to be praying for you, but also we are believing in you, and we want to hear good things. So stay the course. Finish everything to above your ability, 180% of what you do, and do your very best.
Yep. And if you need us, if you need us, we're here.
Basic training, I've done it. 3 months, 90 days, whatever. It's tough, it's challenging, but have fun too. You're gonna make some good friends there, probably lifelong friends that even if you all go to different assignments, you're gonna make some lifelong friends that have fun. Don't be afraid, get out there, whatever you can do. Don't be afraid to show leadership if you can. A good leader also makes himself a good follower too. So then you'll learn those qualities, you'll learn those skills, having a buddy, right? Team building, if you will. And that's what a leader's going to do. And I think you're going to be right up there.
Thank you.
All right. Agreed. Anything you want to say before we go?
I'm going to miss you.
Yes, I'll definitely miss
y'all.
y'all.
Together here, Kamari.
I'll definitely miss y'all. And I really appreciate y'all so much. It's like a family. It's really yeah, definitely, for sure. I've had a great time. Inspirational, yeah. I had a great time. Like coming in here, like coming to work, it's like a highlight of my day. I love it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, folks. Well, you guys have been helping us all night with your super chat, sending Kamari off big. Thank you. Kamari. We even have some cash apps as well. All right. Good. Yeah, we got a cash app from Kimberly Gates, $10 cash app. Thank you so much. All of this is going straight to Kamari, so we really appreciate each and every one. I think we have some more super chats. So did I get everybody?
I think so. I think some more.
There's some people.
Oh, yep. RS for Christ Jesus. God bless you. And thank you in advance for your service to our country. All right, Josh says we have 0 out of 9 Republican districts in Massachusetts now because of redistricting among mostly white people. They took liberal suburbs of Boston and added them to Plymouth and Cape Cod, which was historically red. Wow. See? So yeah. Thank Josh says again, Kamari, best of luck and thank you, sir. All right. Abba's child, salute to the future fellow service member. God bless you. For Kamari from Xavier. Kamari, KJ, my address. You're free to write me if you feel like you get overwhelmed.
Kamari.
I have her. I have her.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a disabled vet and single mom, so I'm willing to help.
Thank you, Jessica.
That is so nice, Jessica. Thank
Yes.
you so much. And
Wow.
say hi to Mackenzie. Hey, Mackenzie.
Yes, Mackenzie. Hi, Mackenzie. All right. Well, folks, that does it for us tonight. We will be back on Friday night at 9 p.m. Check us out. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Good night.